Hey, I'm John here with Joyland Roofing, and I'm standing here beside my mock-up roof. I've got a couple of shingles on, and I want to talk about some of the questions we get regarding shingle installation in cold weather. There are a couple of concerns that people have, and they're real concerns when you get temperatures below 30 degrees or below freezing. So the most common question we get is, do the shingles still adhere to each other in cold weather? So what that question is asking is basically on the bottom of each shingle, which if I pull this shingle up, we can see there's a tar strip on the bottom side of this shingle. And what happens is when these shingles warm up sufficiently, that tar is activated and it sticks it down onto the shingle below it. And then you have basically all of the shingles on the roof sticking to each other so they're not loose like this. And that's there to prevent shingles blowing off, because you get high wind weather and the shingles start doing this if they're not properly adhered to each other. So the question is, all right, if it's cold outside, the tar doesn't activate, and then my shingles don't seal down. The tar takes very little heat to adhere. Even on a cold day, 25, 30 degree day, if the sun is shining, the shingles warm up sufficiently to activate that tar strip. And sometimes, it's possible where you'll install shingles and it'll be a week, it'll be, 10 days before it's warm enough or enough of direct sunlight on the shingles to warm them up sufficiently. No problem. You can install shingles, they'll properly shed water, they'll properly shed ice and snow and all those kinds of things without being sealed. And then as soon as the sun does come out, they'll seal down. Actually, a bigger concern of mine when installing shingles in cold weather is not so much the tar strip, because I know that will adhere very quickly. It's rather nail placement and making sure that our nails aren't punching through or blowing through the shingle. And so what can happen is, if roofers aren't careful, they set their nail guns with too much high pressure. It blows the nail head through the shingle or cracks the top of the shingle and sinks the nail in. And so then that weakens the holding power of the nail on the shingles. When you're installing them in cold weather, make sure that the nails are properly set without cracking and potentially ruining the shingle. We've been doing this for 30 plus years and we've seen it time and time again. The tar strip activates, no problem. You get a good afternoon of sun on these, even if it's 30 degrees, and they'll seal down, no problem. Another question we get is, hey, aren't we going to be risking more leaks and so forth if we try to replace our roof during the winter? And that's probably coming because people are thinking ice and snow and weather's just more volatile and so forth. For a roofer, it's actually just as volatile in the summer and spring months and fall as in the winter, because what's even worse than ice and snow to me is rain, because water seeps in everywhere if you don't have your roof properly covered. So professional roofers make sure that at the end of every day, it doesn't matter what stage the job is in, the roof is watertight. It doesn't matter if they're calling for snow that night or rain or something like that, the roof is going to be watertight. So really the question of risking more leaks in the winter isn't one to be worried about. There are just as many risks during the other months of the year when you're replacing the roof. Really what you need to be confident in is your roofer's ability to properly dry in the roof at every stage of the job from start to finish. Another question I get is, should I be shoveling the snow off my roof because of the added weight on the roof or on the structure in the winter? Reality of it is, here in Pennsylvania, even if you get 2 feet, 2.5 feet of snow, structures, roof systems, trusses are built to withstand a pretty big amount of snow load. And there's no reason why you should need to get on your roof, especially if it's a sloped roof with shingles or metal or something like that. You can have literally 1.5 feet of snow on your roof. You don't have to worry about getting up there to shovel it off. You're probably better off not getting up there and shoveling it, because you risk, when you try to shovel snow off of a shingle roof, you risk damaging the shingles. And so that could actually create more problems instead of less. Now, if it's a flat commercial roof, again, 1.5, 2 feet of snow, shouldn't have to worry about it. There have been a few really big snowstorms where it's 3 feet or more of snow on a roof, and then it rains and gets really heavy. Something like that on a flat roof might be troublesome, but most of the weather that we have here in the Northeast, there is absolutely no concern of excessive weight load on roofs. So there we have it. A couple of common questions we get from people regarding roofing in the winter, whether or not it's possible, snow load, so forth. If you have roof trouble in the winter, get a professional roofer out who has the correct safety gear and knows how to navigate a roof during winter months.